Income is one of the most important measures when you're applying for a mortgage, but not all earnings qualify as income. To explain how lenders see income when it comes to approving a mortgage, we are joined by mortgage broker Mary Cialsis in the studio. Welcome back to the show, Mary.
Thanks.
I love this topic because you come across this all the time. A paycheck is not a paycheck is not a paycheck, right? They're all not created equal. How come?
Because lenders want to see that there's some sort of consistency and stability in terms of income. So people who are salaried, you get paid the same regardless of whether you show up to work or not. People who are hourly, it's a little different.
When we talk about self-employed people, it's much more difficult, right, to show that consistency?
It is, and it isn't. So the benefit of being self-employed is that you can write off a lot of your expenses. The challenge is that you end up taking down your income from all the way up here with your gross revenues down here. And the lenders will generally only use the net income after expenses for qualifying your mortgage money.
So how do lenders view hourly employees?
So with hourly employees, they generally work based on minimum guaranteed hours per week or per month, however it works for that employee, multiplied by their hourly rate. But the minimum per week can be 35, can be 37 and a half, can be 40 hours, sometimes 44, and sometimes there's overtime involved.
Okay, so let's talk about overtime. Does that income qualify?
It does, but you have to have had it and claimed it for 2 full calendar years. There are a lot of careers, like in the trades and in nursing and healthcare, where a lot of overtime is available. And so as people work through it, they have to have 2 full years, 2 full calendar years where they've declared it to the CRA, paid the taxes, and then we can use that income as part of mortgage qualification.
Okay, so what tips do you have for people who are self-employed?
So for people who are self-employed, you need to have at least 2 full calendar years. If you decide to become self-employed in September to December of that year is not going to be a good representation of what your potential earnings are. So you would need to have 2 full calendar years under your belt. That would then be a good place to start to see what your income is. If the net income after deductions is not enough, there are alternative lenders out there who will work based on your gross revenue minus a percentage for business expenses. They do have a slightly higher interest rates and some fees, but it really can make the huge difference between owning and not owning.
What about part-time workers? What should be a strategy for part-time workers?
Consistency. Again, lenders are always looking for consistency and stability of income. You need to have been in the part-time job for at least 2 full calendar years before we can use any of the income.
What kind of lender are we talking about right now? Are you talking all lenders?
Yep.
A lenders?
A lenders, general financial institutions, the big 5 banks, and a whole bunch of mortgage companies. They all want to see 2 full calendar years. Alternative lenders do look at it differently.
They do look at it differently. So they'll be looking at other things. Would they look at investment accounts, that type of thing?
Some lenders even on the A side look at investment accounts as well.
Okay, so any other tips that you can let people in on in terms of applying for the mortgage? Let's say it's two people in a relationship who are trying to purchase a property, both are self-employed. What can they do?
Again, 2 full years, 2 full calendar years, have your taxes filed, file the taxes annually, pay up, have everything ready to go, and then usually they can work on the 2-year average. I mean, if you were an employee of a company and then you became self-employed, there is an argument to be made for less than 2 years of self-employment because it's sort of continuity of employment. It's the same line of work for several years, and if the earnings are about the same, you should be okay.
Is this sort of antiquated, though? Should we revisit this whole structure? I mean, you look at how many people right now are employed. As Michelle just pointed out, she's like, well, how safe are you with a full salary job at this point anyway?
I am self-employed, and I understand completely because it's the same challenge that I face, and I have this argument with lenders all the time because it's true. You could get a mortgage, you could get the keys to your house, and you could lose your job the next day.
Right. Here we go. Well, great tips. Thanks for coming in this morning, Mary.
Thank you.
Always good to see you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.